As this plays out, right? I mean, and these cases are going to take a while.
Yeah.
And Trump is running for the nomination. He is certainly the favorite at this point to get the nomination. Let's imagine he's found guilty of one or more of these charges. He's not yet president. What does that mean, in your view, for his ability to pursue that run?
Nothing. He can be pending trial. He can be charged. He can be convicted. He can be in prison, as far as I understand it, and still run for and win the presidency. Historically, you might predict that if someone gets convicted of a crime, they would lose votes. We've not had a situation where someone was on the verge of being convicted of committing a crime. This may be one of those circumstances.
It's less clear in this circumstance. That's right.
Look, and in other countries, people have been convicted of crimes and come back and run for office.
Do you think it's more likely, given where the cases are right now, that they would actually play out in completion before the election, or not?
I don't think so. I also think that, not to step out of my lane for a second and think about politics, I also think it's in Trump's interest not to have had the trial.
He played it out, yeah.
Yeah, to say this trial is hanging over my head. They're trying to persecute me because of my politics. And on election day, a vote for me will send a signal that you can't intimidate me, some version of that. Because on the other hand, trying the case and getting convicted, with the possibility of getting convicted, I think the likelihood is he would be convicted. I don't think it's a sure thing. It's a triable case, I think. On the eve of the election, who knows how that plays out? Maybe it makes him more of a martyr, maybe not. But I think the scenario I mentioned a second ago, being convicted and being in prison and running for the presidency, is not likely to arise in the situation with respect to the Manhattan DA's office case, because I don't think Trump is getting any jail time. And I think people may not appreciate that, given the level of the felony.
So why do you think Trump would not get jail time in this case?
The arguments that someone of his age, with his lack of criminal record, and based on the seriousness of the conduct, would be unlikely to get a jail sentence. And by the way, this is all, I'm not sure this should factor in. It's all complicated by the fact that we say everyone is equal and no one is above the law, but we do treat former presidents differently. And one way we treat them differently is we give them Secret Service details for the rest of their life, because we feel that they're important assets of the country, if you will, and we protect them. So the idea that in a case of this level of seriousness, given all the other circumstances I mentioned, and the Secret Service issue and the safety of a former president, I find it hard to believe a judge would sentence him to prison.